Welcome to the Russell Hantz Show. We have the Ultimate Survivor, Soul Survivor podcast in the house, talking about the Ultimate Survivor bracket. We have Sweet 16. Sweet 16. Any of you guys surprised of ones that did not make the Sweet 16?
What do you think, Dylan?
Honestly, it was mostly chalk. Most of the top seeds did move on. If not, I believe that the lowest seed remaining is Coach, who's a 6 seed. So I think that all the favorites pretty much won. There were maybe a few that I thought would be closer that didn't end up being close, but overall the top 4 seeds in each region did move on, except for the Edge of Extinction region where Coach also moved on as a 6 seed.
Yeah, and you had I see a lot of recency bias, because of the season they're on now. But saying that, Ethan didn't get on, so some didn't make it, even though they were on this season. But I think a lot did. She wouldn't even be the. I don't think they'd be this ahead. She didn't have too big of a road to climb though. Sarah had Eris and then Denise and now Tyson. So she may have went pretty far because she didn't have much competition right there. So okay, what is that flashing? Is that seen that flashing?
That's the orb.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. I mean, it's technically a big tennis ball. I don't know why it's flashing over there.
It's the magic orb.
Oh man, look at that! Oh, okay. And they got a light going down to it. You see that? It's like landed right there. Okay, so we'll go ahead and start it off with Parvati and Natalie. We got Parvati and Natalie in the Sweet 16. Parvati's number 1, Natalie's number 4. What do you guys think?
I think, we're still going to see a Parvati win. I would be pretty surprised at this point if we don't see Parvati in at least the Elite 8, probably even the Final 4. Again, I just think her record still speaks for herself. Even in this season, she does outlast Natalie. I mean, we're seeing Natalie do a lot of great work on Edge of Extinction, but Parvati this week is, just coming off the heels of finding the advantage. Like you said, Russell, she was happy that she did something in the game. So, she found this advantage. And I believe actually on our podcast, we were debating how good of a move it was, but let's just say Peanut Butter was 1 or 2 tokens. She still has 2 or 3 tokens left to use for a possible advantage in the challenge. So if she feeds herself like Tyson did, and then she has an advantage, she could be in a good spot still.
All right.
Yeah, I think Parvati.
Especially her.
I think Parvati's going to take this round also.
I think Parvati. Natalie, on the other hand, there's a recent bias because she's on the season. I don't think she beats Dom in any other poll if she wasn't on this season.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you look at the voting, so Parvati had what I believe was the 3rd biggest win out of any matchup so far in the bracket. She beat Michelle out of 3,178 votes. She beat Michelle 93% to 7%. So, wow. And then Natalie won over Dom 61 to 39 with 2,656 votes. So, but based on Parvati's dominant win over somebody who's still in this season, a former winner in Michelle, she's going to be tough to beat the rest of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, on this side of the bracket. But the most votes, we ain't going to get to it right now. It's interesting because the most votes, due to that, we'll get to it, but I think she's going to be tough to beat.
Yeah.
I agree.
I think it's going to be a fight because of how the votes went down in the last round, but we'll get to that in a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So next round we have Coach number 6 and Kim number 2. Now this gives, I think Coach may have a shot due to the way Kim is playing. And this was the show if Coach is actually legit and supposed to be here.
I think I have an interesting point, though. I mean, I do think it's going to be based on what people are voting for, Russell. I mean, I think you're right. If we're looking at who has had a greater showing in terms of their gameplay. I think, Kim came off of a very dominant win. She's been kind of quiet this season, but she still is known for that great performance. But like we said the last few times, if we're going to just vote on who we think is the ultimate survivor in terms of your favorite player, your favorite character, Coach is an amazing character. Kim might be a great player, but she's not, amazing, like crazy TV character. Coach has all that. So I feel like if you're going to vote for a great TV character, Coach has got this. But if you're voting for a great player, Kim's got it. So I think it's going to come down to what people want in their bracket choice.
Yeah, Ryan, I agree with you. And don't count out Coach's Twitter campaign that he's launching. The Coach following is pretty strong.
Right. Do you think that let's see, Coach. Do you think that that Kim? You think that because she's playing now, it's going to help her or hurt her?
So we have a question from the audience. What's so good about Kim in the first place? I guess that's from somebody that didn't see her really dominant win. I guess they're just watching this season and watching her play passively. Yeah. Do you want to touch upon how she was so dominant?
Well, she was in my opinion, she was one of the most dominant winners of all times.
Agreed.
But votes like that, people that saying things like that could hurt her chances right now, because people that's watching it, they're like, Kim, she can't, Coach at least is a character. Kim is nothing. If they didn't see that season, they're voting, well, they would have had to skip a host. They would have had to watch Coach and skip all the rest and watch, they had a big old area where they had to skip. But in my opinion, I'm voting on like all around performances, who were the ones that were good for the show. I vote for Coach because I think Coach was so positive for the game of Survivor and the characters. It was one of my favorite seasons. I've said this before, but I don't know where. There would have never been a King Russell if there wouldn't have been a Dragon Slayer. I remember arguing with someone before I played before I played the game about I wanted to be the Dragon Slayer. He was so overwhelming, and it was so interesting watching him. I wanted to be the Dragon Slayer. And he's like, you can't be Dragon Slayer. I'm like, well, I want to be a Dragon Slayer, man. It was his character, what he did was epic. So eventually I changed it from the Dragon Slayer to the King. I wanted to be King. I knew I was going to be King Russell from before I even started the game. That was what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a character because of Coach. So he brought that in. He brought something in, because I'm not an actor. I don't know nothing about that stuff. I wasn't a fan of the show either. But I watched Coach season because it was season 18 and I was playing season 19. So when I seen him, it was just, I was like, man, that's some epic stuff right there. Even though some people don't like him, he has these stories. He got tied up one time in the forest, and a bunch of little people was running and beating him with a stick while he was tied up, and he escaped in a kayak. I mean, so
is that actually true?
I never really asked him if that was true, but if I ever play with him again, I might ask him about that story.
Yeah,
that's a pretty bizarre story.
And to go over the vote. Oh, you. The thing is, he's just not. He's not the type of guy that. He's not a lie. Like I hate to call Philip a liar, but it just seems like he fibs quite a bit. Now, when you know Coach as a person, he doesn't seem like the person that lies. He just doesn't seem that type of person in real life. So the stories they're far-fetched, but maybe they have a little bit of truth to them. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I just think that, Coach, like we're saying, is one of the greatest Survivor characters. And in terms of being a player, I think we see him grow as a player from his first season to his last season. I mean, ending South Pacific as a really strong player in that game. I think, though, Kim's visibility is going to help her here, because we're seeing her in this last episode. She wins immunity. I believe now she won 4 immunities in her first season. She won 1 so far this season. I think she's either tied for overall female wins immunities, or she has the new record, one of the two. So that's a big boost for her. What's up?
I said maybe she does have the new record. I did.
She
see
might have
that.
the new record, like over all female immunity wins, so that could help her out. I think this week might be like a family visit as well. I think Kim's going to get a lot of visibility, and I think that's going to help her in this bracket. I think.
Yeah, so I think it's going to be really close. So if you look at the voting from last round, so both had dominant wins. Coach against Jenna won 75-25, 3,424 votes on that one, and that's after a dominant performance of Andrea in the last round. So Coach's fans are definitely behind him in this. I know he's been tweeting it out and interacting as well. And Kim, she beats Tina 83-17, 3,492 votes on that one. And I actually thought this was going to be a lot closer a vote because Tina got an overwhelming amount of the vote in the first round. And, she is a former winner. And then she also came in 5th place in a great season in Blood vs. Water, season 27. So, look, I thought that it would be a little bit closer, but Kim dominated that. So I do think that Coach has his hands full here. It's just going to depend if people vote for the best, maybe the best character, or vote for the more dominant game. And that would be Kim.
Right. Yeah, I think that I think it's gonna be a close one because Coach is involved with it. Because he's tweeting out. I think it's gonna be super close. Now, if Coach beats Kim, rather him being involved or not, Parvati's gonna move on. She's gonna beat Natalie, and then there's gonna be Coach and Natalie. But he'll make it to the next round, which I think he would appreciate that.
Yeah, I think just looking ahead, it's going to be interesting if Parvati wins and then if Kim wins, because then you're going to have Parvati and Kim, two very dominant female winners. And the biggest question is, is Parvati still considered one of the greats while Kim is still in this game and Parvati's on the edge of extinction. So if those two ladies win and move on, I'm going to be excited to see how Parvati and Kim plays out.
Right. And that segues into the next round. We have a pretty powerful female matchup.
Oh yeah, I'm excited for this.
Yeah, we do.
So what do you guys?
The next round we have number 1 Sandra against number 4 Cirie. That she may upset Sandra right here, and it's going to be because what happened with Sandra in this season.
Yeah. So
strong factor.
The Sandra Malcolm vote was actually really close. Compared to what maybe people would have thought. So 3,534 votes, and Sandra only beats Malcolm 59-41, which means that Cirie, who beat JT 63-37 on 2,725 votes, I think Cirie has a pretty decent shot to beat Sandra in this round with the way the votes have been going.
Mm-hmm.
Do y'all believe that Cirie's going to take it? I think Cirie's going to take this.
I think Cirie has a strong chance.
Yeah, I think that she may be the most likely upset in this round. We'll have to see.
Yeah.
I think it's time that people are going to push for an upset, and a big one at that. So I'm pushing for Cirie as well.
Right. Yeah, I'm definitely pushing Cirie.
Yeah. I just think that let's even put Sandra's, raising the sail. Let's put that aside for 1 second. I think Cirie is widely considered one of the best to never win. I think actually, I don't know if you guys saw this, but they asked the winners on this season, in an article last week, who do you think is the best player to never win? And the majority said Cirie. And I think that's Cirie, honestly, other than Heroes versus Villains when she got idled out by Tom, 3 other times she comes close to making it to the end. She loses fire making in Panama at the final 4. She gets screwed over in Micronesia by the final 3 becoming a final 2. And then Game Changers had all the advantages. So Cirie is likely a 1-time winner, if not a 2-time winner, if a couple things go differently. So I feel like you can't downplay what Cirie has done in her 4 times. Incredible.
Yeah. I don't think it matters, the flag thing.
Exactly.
I don't think that even matters. I think Cirie would have gave her a shot no matter what. She is definitely in the top 3 of most popular females to ever play the game.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm in the camp that says Sandra is an undeserving 2-time winner. So I'm sure I'm not the only one out there that thinks that, and I think that Cirie is gonna really give Sandra a run for her money.
And I was thinking about the cast, and they had a legend season. Cirie's definitely be out there. But then I was thinking, who's besides me? Who would be the bigger threat? Like who when you look at it on paper, Cirie's definitely a huge threat because she gets to the end, she's winning.
Exactly.
And I get to the end, there's an argument I can easily say I'm not going to win if I get to the end. Cirie will, but she, it's like who's going to vote Cirie out early? Who doesn't want to actually play with Cirie?
She's someone you want to work with,
right?
Yeah.
And the thing is, in that game, I've always said if you're going to work with someone that not everybody's going to target. Like if everybody's going to target this person, why are you working with them? Because it's just going to weaken your alliance immediately. Cirie's the perfect person to work with. If I was out there, I don't know if she'd work with me or not, but I sure would be like, let's try to do this.
Now, do you guys think if Legends does happen and Cirie's out there, do you guys think she goes far again, or do you think she goes out early? Because I would have said going into Game Changers, she's a big target. She's a big name. She starts with Ozzy on the same tribe as her, which is a massive deficit to her. And she still makes Final Six. And she never got a single vote that whole game. Even the tribal council where she went home, there were no votes against her in that urn. So Cirie never had a vote against her. So I would have said going into Game Changers, Cirie's in big trouble, but she got really far. I'm curious if she'll do it again in Legends if it happens, or if she's going to go early.
I think she'd go extremely far because everybody wants to work with Cirie, but the thing is, you sitting in the final five, and all of a sudden she sneaks her way to the final three. You're in trouble. So she's super dangerous to work with when it comes down to bringing her to the end, but she's super safe to work with when you're trying to get together a solid alliance. I think she'd be somebody you can trust.
Yeah. Russell, do you have any insider info on a Legend season?
Well, I was called to season 40. So they were going to do something. They didn't tell me what it was, but I'm assuming it was some type of Legend season. The word is that CBS changed it all because of what happened in season 39. So when all that went down, they needed something safe. The Legends aren't safe. Like you can break down the names. You put Fair Play in there. You put me in there. You put even Coach. I don't know if you guys. He caused a little trouble in Heroes versus Villains. So he's just not. He caused a little trouble outside in production.
Oh, I think he's frozen.
Frozen.
Okay. So he caused a little trouble outside in production side. So he's just not safe. He's not a yes man, believe it or not. Philip, he's not a yes man. I don't know if he'd be considered a legend, but then you have Richard Hatch. He's sure not a yes man. Johnny Fairplay's not a yes man. You just have a lot of big personalities that you can't risk after season 39 happened.
Yeah.
So they decided to scratch it all. Which we're having a pretty good season, so it's okay at this point. And they decided to scrap it all and go with winners. So I think it was going to be some sort of Legend season. And they're waiting for season 50 now. I don't know. We're going to all be too damn old to go out there and play season 50. All with walking canes by then. So I think it's going to be, because of all this craziness that's happening, I think they're going to lose a whole season. And because of that, I think they're going to go with something big to ramp up. At least, I like new players. I like the new style. I like seeing new players, and I'm sure you guys too. But it's exciting when you see Legends and Heroes versus Villains. And that might have been one of the greatest casts in the history of put together. I mean, look at that cast that was put together. And then they have Game Changers. So they do so well with Heroes versus Villains, putting that cast together. Then you have a Game Changer cast that you're like, wait, who was that again? So it's weird. I think that's Lynn Spillman chose Heroes versus Villains once she left, and then Game Changers happened. I think CBS puts their hand in it sometimes to try to control things when they shouldn't. They should let Jeff do that. That's why you had Jeff trying to explain the Game Changer thing and was confused. Like, oh, these are people that could possibly change the game. It went from these are game changers to No, these people we think could change the game.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's Game Changers is controversial for that reason. I think that Legends, I think it will happen. I feel like you have to, if you're going to end Survivor, I feel like you have to end with Legends. If you're not going to end with all winners, end with Legends. Russell, do you think that if they need a big season after a break to ramp things up, but they want to save Legends for like the last season, could you see like a second chance too or something like that? Because I know people love second chance. Could you see like a second chance?
I think they're going to have something else before Legends. So maybe a second chance too. Maybe they did well when they let the fans vote. It was a big deal. It was, what was the name of that season when they let everybody vote and they went on the stage?
Second Chance.
Yeah, Second Chance.
That was okay. So yeah, so something like that would work because they liked it. CBS liked it. Survivor liked it. It was a good season. So I think we may be looking at something like that. Because let's just say I played something like that. I still could play Legend. So it would only be my fourth time playing in America and then playing a season, Legend season. So, I mean, I wouldn't be the only 5-time player. And Ozzy, people like Ozzy. I don't know if you guys know, I know you don't know this, but Ozzy's first season, they had I forgot where it was. Do you guys remember where it was, his first season?
The Cook Islands?
Cook Islands, yeah.
It was somewhere where they had a brick of cocaine that floated on the island.
Oh my God. Wow.
And production was like, no. Cameraman don't supposed, he told me this himself. Cameraman don't supposed to talk to you at all. When that happened, they were like, oh, no, give that to us. Nobody knows what happened to the brick of cocaine though.
Yeah.
I guess production had a hell of a time. Anyway, so we'll move on to the next in the Sweet 16. That's number 3, Richard Hatch against number 2, Yule.
Speaking of Cook Islands, yeah.
I was going to say that. I was waiting for it.
So to recap the last vote, so Hatch moves on over Ethan, 59-41, with 2,909 votes.
Good joke.
And then Yule moves on over Sophie, 75-25, 2,882 votes. I think that Yule's going to end up taking this. Yule's just so beloved by fans. He's easily like probably a top 10 fan favorite of all time. And I think it's going to be really hard to stop him. Who's in his, so it's Sandra. So if let's just say Cirie were to win, and he were to win, he could face off against Cirie or Sandra in a Elite 8. That would be interesting if Yule were to play against Cirie in the Elite 8.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what's going to happen. I think that we're going to see. I think Yule is going to win. I think it's going to be a fight though, because I could easily see Hatch winning there, and then Cirie. I think she had another fight, Cirie and Sandra. So if it does come up to Cirie and Yule, I don't know. I give the edge to Cirie on that one as well.
Mm-hmm.
That would put Cirie easily making the Final Four.
I could see it.
She has an easier run, even though these are really popular players. I could see Cirie making the Final Four.
I can see it.
See it also.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think Richard and Yule's going to be a pretty tough fight. I mean, Yule's recent in this season, and Yule's a great player. He's really beloved. But, I mean, a lot of people have a lot of respect for the very first guy to do it, Richard Hatch, creating alliances. And I think he still tries to stay relevant. And even though he's not on this season, he stays relevant by making his videos, and he's active online sometimes. So I think Yule will take it, but I think it's going to be a close fight for sure.
And what's really impressive about Yule's win also is I expected him to get past Sophie. There was no doubt about that, but he did do it 75-25, even though Sophie is playing an incredible game this year. So that is impressive.
Yeah. Okay. We'll move on to the other side, the Exile Island. Do you think they'll ever have another Exile Island? I like it.
When was the last season they had Exile Island?
Exile Island was
it Fiji?
No, they had Exile Island. Well, Coach went to Exile Island for Token Gene, so I think the last time they did that was maybe it was Coach's season. Actually, was the last time they did it.
Yeah, it's been a while.
See, I actually always wanted to have. I got stuck with Redemption Island, but that I liked Exile Island, and I always wanted to be on Exile like that. That was my thing, but I never got to.
Yeah, I mean, Exile Island became, Redemption Island, which then became,
Ghost Island.
Ghost Island, then Edge of Extinction. And they keep changing it, but I don't think we're going to see it for a while because Probst heard the feedback for this season and people don't like Edge of Extinction, so we're not going to see it for a while. So I doubt we see really any island for a bit.
I think that's going to change. You think that's going to change, though? Because, yes, they were saying, and he said, I hear you when it comes to EOE. But people are like, oh, maybe, it's interesting. We kind of want our cake and eat it, too, because we see some interesting stuff happening on EOE. But then, like me, I want it to exist because I don't want to go home if I get voted off. So I'm being selfish and saying, as a player, yes, I want it to be there because I want to go there and have another opportunity to get in the game. But as a fan, I see a lot of people saying that they do not want it.
Yeah. The chat saying, I forgot the chat saying San Juan del Sur 29 had Exile Island, and then 32 had it a couple times as well. So
and 37. Carl
37, yeah. I mean, I think the last main time it was used was in Tocantins and then San Juan del Sur 29, but then they use it a couple of small times after that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So next on the other side, Exile Island, we have number 1 Tony against number 4 Amanda.
Blowout.
Yeah, I don't see any way Amanda wins this. Amanda got past Wendell 65-35 on 2,414 votes. Tony got past Joe 89-11, 3,683 votes. And I don't know we could obviously discuss this, but if you go down to a little bit further down in this region, it's very possible that Tony could end up playing Jeremy in the Elite Eight, and Tony and Jeremy were arguing back and forth on the thread of the Sweet 16 bracket, so it should be interesting to see. But I would love to see that.
I think that Tony would take that. I
agree.
Think that Jeremy. Yeah, I don't think Jeremy be able to. That is strange. After Tony, he had a great season his first time. Second time, I was calling him off. I was like, he's not that good. Almost like we see in Kim, it was just the cast. I kept saying that. That's all it was the cast. That's what made him look so good. Now, all of a sudden, he's looking pretty good. So I think he went home and was embarrassed by the second time he played and came here and said, you know what? I'm just going to lay low. I heard he may be one of the ones that got paid to play. I don't think he was playing for free. So I think he went there to collect a check and said, you know what? I don't care. I'm going to lay low right now and see what happens. And then that's when he said, I'm not going in the woods. I'm not looking for idols. I'm not doing none of that. And that's a positive thing for Tony.
Russell, how does that work? How do some contestants get paid to play? What do you know about that?
You tell them you're not playing. Tony, I heard Tony wasn't playing. Rob wasn't playing. Parvati wasn't playing, and you need those. So, and then Rob is like, the only way I'll play is if my wife plays. And the only way I'll play is you pay me and you pay her. So they got a fat check. I don't know this for sure. This is all rumored, but it sounds about right. If they ask me to play again, there's no way I would leave my house without a check, period.
How much?
I would ask for $201,000 because I would want to be the highest paid survivor ever played.
Hmm.
Who got 200?
I like it.
If that's what I would say, I would find out for sure through my attorney. I would let them deal with it and say, I just want to be paid $1 higher than that anybody's ever been paid. So I don't know what the number is, but if it's 200, I want 201. If it's 100, I want 101. I just want it to be fair because I think that my performance, I was told directly by, she's a retired, but it was the vice president of CBS, Ann O'Grady. She came up to me during the Brandon thing when I was out there in the stage of Brandon, and she said, we wouldn't have been able to move forward with Survivor after season 19 and 20 if it wasn't for you. So, okay, if you're telling me this, then where's my check? You know? And if I did get paid, it would probably be in my contract that I couldn't say anything. So I'm just saying it now before I can't say anything.
So you were not paid to go on 22?
I was paid to go on 22, but that never was in the contract. But I was paid $75,000. Rob was paid $75,000. I was paid $75,000. And
this is awesome info.
Then, yeah, what's it been? 11 years since then? So 10 years or so. So you would think with inflation it would went up quite a bit. And they might have paid them $200 because the prize is $2 million. So that might be but I wouldn't leave that, man. I have a feeling I'm not going to play again because I don't think they'll pay me. And then I'm not going to play if they don't. Like, I'm straight up going to say, no, it's not going to happen. Just not going to play. I'm not going to do it. I'm not leaving my house to go out there and fight so hard for you guys to get voted out early.
Mm-hmm.
I have one last money question. How much does last place get paid for being on the show?
When it was 100,000, it was only like 2,500. So I'm assuming. I mean, when it was 1 million, it was 2,500. It's like 2,500, then goes up drastically as they go on. Now it's probably 5,000, but you also get 10,000 when you go to the live show because CBS has to pay you. You can't just go on TV for free. They have to pay you. So you end up, if you get voted out first, when it was 1 million, you ended up by getting 12.5 for the entire thing. And I didn't know that. First time I played, I didn't know I was getting anything. I had no clue. As far as I knew, I had to win to get paid. And as I was playing season 19, I found out, no, you're going to get paid if you come in second or third or fourth to get more and more. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. I'm going all the way in this game. It's either first or second for sure. So, and then I won fan favorite. That was $100,000 for fan favorite. I think they should bring back fan favorite. I don't know why someone hasn't sponsored it. But
Cia's paying the Cia fan favorite award now. Every season, Cia pays the fan favorite.
Well, didn't she just do it that one year?
No, she's done it, Russell. She's done it since I think she's done it for the last like 3 or 4 seasons because they stopped doing it in Fans versus Favorites when Malcolm won it, and then it was gone for a while, and then all of a sudden Cia gave Ty.
Really?
Yes, Cia gave Ty in Co Wrong some money, and then I think a few seasons later, she gave like Rick Devens money. She gave Elaine money last season, and Janet and Jamal, and she gave who she give on Ghost Island money? She gave Jonathan. Cia every season. Cia gives money to somebody.
Wow. I don't think she'd like it if she had to hand me $100,000.
I mean, it's the Cia Fan Favorite Award.
Wow, I didn't know that. That's cool. So we'll move on. And next round, we have Todd, number 3, against number 2, Jeremy.
Blowout.
Yeah, so Todd beat Aubrey in our closest vote, 53% to 47%. 2,541 votes, and then Jeremy over Ozzy in another close vote, 56 to 44 in 2,670 votes. So both were close votes. But I think that if I had to guess here, that Ozzy has a little bit more fan support than Aubrey, even though Aubrey's also very popular. Todd had a tough time getting by Aubrey, and Jeremy got past Ozzy by a little bit more. I'll probably give the edge to Jeremy in this one. Plus, Jeremy's a lot more recent, so I got to give him the edge going into this matchup.
Right.
And then hopefully if he wins, and then I'm sure Tony's going to beat him, and then they'll face off in the Elite Eight, which would be great to see, especially because they're both on this season.
It's fun.
Right. Yeah, I was kind of shocked that. I mean, Todd is popular, but I thought Aubrey was going to take him on that vote.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was close.
Yeah, no, people have a lot of respect for both of them. Like, I guess Todd being a winner probably edged out Aubrey. Yeah, I think Jeremy's going to beat Todd because of, he's on the season. I think Tony's going to win because he's on the season. I think actually they're both playing pretty well. Russell, I know you said in your breaking down video that you thought Tony's playing a great game. I completely agree. I think Tony's playing such an amazing game. The fact that Tony can lay low and be getting as far as he is without a single vote against him, I think is actually amazing. And I know you said that Jeremy is, not really doing a lot right now. I feel like I kind of agree where I feel like Jeremy's not doing a ton, but the one thing I want to point out is that we see in that crazy scene, he doesn't leave that bench. He stays there the whole time while they're strategizing. I know people are saying online that maybe he's not going around, but the fact that everyone's coming to him, I think means that a lot of people trust him. I think he has a lot of social clout in the game. I think Jeremy, even though he got blindsided with the whole Wendell thing, I think he's still positioned pretty well in the game, though. Yeah.
The thing is with when I think about that is when you play that game, as long as it's not me, and that's the game he's playing, as long as it's not me game, it's easy to see someone like Sandra win with that type of strategy. It's super hard to see someone like Jeremy win with that type of strategy because, yes, they are going up to him, and he has some sort of power in the game. He can win physically. So I think that it's going to be tough for Jeremy. But you're right. They are trusting in him, and everybody's going up to him. How many times did he change his vote right there? 3 or 4?
A lot.
Yeah. And I think this is what's going to happen going forward. So I think that Jeremy and Tony they're both trying to somewhat in the same ballpark of the same strategy where they're both trying to lay low and make sure the target's not on their back at this point. I think that within the next probably 2 to 3 episodes max, they're going to realize, and I know they may have showed this in the preview, but I'm not sure. Obviously it's a preview. I'm not sure how much it actually means or how far it's going to actually go. But there is going to hit a point where I think that Tony and Jeremy are going to realize that they're going to have to vote. One is going to have to vote the other out at some point. That's how I think it's going to go. And obviously, whoever ends up on top there is going to have a huge edge going forward.
But Jeremy has his get out of jail free card. I think Jeremy susses it out, and I think he gets out of tribal. So I think if it happens this episode or not, Jeremy's going to.
Yeah, and it's the last time he could play it, so he has to do it.
So I think, but does he do it?
Well, right.
I mean, because he becomes, a great player all of a sudden, like Denise, if he makes some sort of big move. Like, that's what's interesting about watching these new school players play. It shows me perspective of when I played, I wanted them to know I'm the reason they got voted out because I thought they would respect that, but that's not the case at all. You want to almost be behind the scenes when that person gets voted out, and you want to make big moves, but with the new schoolers, just as you make a big move, they're like, oh, that's part of their resume. We can get rid of them. So does he really get up and walk away? Because in his mind, he's probably thinking, yes, I can put that in my resume, but is that going to be, immediately put a target on my back? And Jeff said it's one of the best seasons that he's ever did. So it isn't right there at this point. It isn't to me, it's in the top 10. It's not in the top 5 to me.
I agree.
But it can easily get there with what they have. Kim has an idol. Jeremy has that walk away thing. If they're aiming for Jeremy and he gets up and walks away, that's epic. It's going to be an epic, tribal council. So
chaos is going to ensue if he does that, and everyone's going to start talking again. Because if the vote is Jeremy and he gets up and walks away and is safe, then what?
Then everybody plays the idol.
Yeah,
everybody plays what they have in their pocket. It's like a chain reaction.
Yep. Yeah. No, I agree. I honestly think because we just came off the heels of this episode where Adam goes for the idol that's not really an idol. That was really exciting. I think, like we're saying, Jeff is saying this is such an epic, amazing season. We're working our way up there. I think if we have 2 or 3 episodes in a row of, let's just say Tony goes for Jeremy, Jeremy plays his safety without power, he leaves, people play their idols. I think actually that people are going to panic and the vote's going to fall maybe on Nick because Nick's an easy vote, or maybe it'll fall back on Tyson. I think those are the 2 people in the most danger this week if Jeremy leaves tribal. And then let's just say next week, Michelle flips her coin and she's safe, and then people panic, and then someone else gets voted out. I think if we see these 2 advantages played, it's going to be a really epic season.
Yeah, I think it's super close. For me, it can drop off next season, or it can get in the top 5. Like, it's right there to where, yes, it can get exciting fast. Last tribal was super exciting. It's in the top 10 for me. Another exciting tribal like that, Jeremy walking off, all kind of stuff, it goes to the top 5 for me, just like that.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's just super boring episode, then I think that it hurts it. It's definitely on the path of greatness.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll move on and talk about, this is the most interesting one for me, and it's Boston Rob, number 1, and number 4, Kelly. And a lot of people out there are like, why is that interesting? How does Kelly have a shot? Kelly has a shot because she had how many votes?
So, I'll start off with Rob. So Rob beats Cochran 79-21, pretty much expected. 35-65 on the votes there. And then Kelly and Tom shatter the record for votes by nearly 3,000, more than like what second place was here. So Kelly beat Tom 62-38, and it got 6,747 votes. And the poll got 64 comments because people were just going back and forth talking about it, which is great.
Yeah.
I think that Kelly takes it, man. I think she has a following that it's gonna be super close because people on Rob's side are gonna be like, what's going on? And it's gonna get out there. But I think we're looking at a 50-50 type race right here.
I could see this going either way. I really don't know which way to call this. This could go either way.
Yeah, I mean, if
Kelly Wentworth.
If Kelly retweets it again like she did, she has.
Oh, she will.
She has
She texts me. She texts me. So she's involved in it, and she's gonna retweet. And I'm like, girl, you realize you could beat Rob in this thing? Like, you had damn near 8,000 votes. What's going on? She's like, my fans are amazing. They're crazy. And that's what we're seeing. Now, if Rob got involved and retweeted, then I think he'll take it. But it'll be over 10,000 votes.
Right. I still think it could. Look, I think that if Kelly were to retweet it again, which you say she will, I think it's going to get more than the one versus Tom did, because it is Boston Rob, and people are going to be like, wait, right. Rob is in this close of a race, and I know that there are some really obviously diehard Boston Rob fans, and I didn't even realize that Kelly had. I knew Kelly had a huge following. I didn't realize that it was that influential where it was going to explode for 3,000 more than the second highest in the entire bracket.
Right.
For the votes.
Yes. I thought it was really interesting she got that many votes. And if she takes Rob out, this is an open race.
Oh, yeah.
The Kelly following is strong and loyal, but at the same time, in that last poll, there were a lot of Kelly haters saying that she's overrated and she doesn't deserve to be a 4. I was just heavily nodding at what Andrew said in the chat. Kelly is winning that ball machine challenge, that last individual immunity challenge, away from winning season 31, having arguably the best and most dominant performance of all time. And then she flips seeds with Jeremy, probably. Jeremy's a 2 seed right now and nobody's questioning it. Yeah. Kelly, it was an absolute beast the entire season. I am strongly campaigning for her to beat Boston Rob, and I hope that she can make it.
If Kelly wins, if Kelly goes to the final, she wins, and she becomes the best winner ever. Over Kim, she would have been number 1. Kim would have been number 2, right up there with Tony. So it would have been one of the greatest performances, because she played with a hell of a cast, man. I mean, she played with some great players that was playing that game. They were all playing. Spencer was playing.
Yeah. That's personally, I think it's in my top 2 favorite seasons, that and Heroes Villains. So I was actually just recently rewatching season 31. Kelly was on the bottom from the merge, pretty much the merge through the time she got voted out 4th. She played the idol when there were 12 left, obviously to blindside Savage, and she had 9 votes against her, where she obviously flips the vote on Savage, plays the idol. Then she made sure she was safe again. She played the idol correctly a second time. When there was 6 left, there was a 3-3 split, and then there was no votes, and that whole thing ended up where Kimmy goes home. And then this goes very under the radar, and I'm not sure a lot of people remember this, but in the final 5 of that season, so it was her and Keith, and then the other side was Jeremy, Spencer, and Tasha. Kelly wins immunity to make sure she's in the final 4, so it was the easy vote for Keith to go home. Kelly takes all of the material that she had around camp and made a fake idol, which was extremely realistic, and I think it definitely could have worked. Keith didn't end up playing it up like he should have. If Keith was like a Dom type and played that up, I think it easily could have worked.
Yeah,
just something I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, he's just not that kind of
he's not that type.
Play.
Right.
So, right. So we got a question here that I want to answer. One of my patrons asking how they're going to do the live finale. I heard it's going to be virtual. I don't know what that means. The only thing it can mean is are they all going to be on a computer screen? I mean, have y'all guys read anything about it?
Yeah, I mean, I've read a couple articles on this from a lot of well-known Survivor reporters and writers. Basically, on May 6th, the week before the finale, it's going to be a 2-week episode. So we're going to get like a nice, long, meaty episode the week before the finale for 2 hours. Then the next week, May 13th, is the 3-hour season finale. So probably 2 hours for the show, 1 hour for the reunion, and it's going to be virtual. So, and the wording here is all 20 players to connect virtually. So that, I think, Russell, it probably will be like a Zoom. It probably will be like a virtual type situation, I think.
It's going to be weird to see Jeff read the votes over.
I would have my Russell Hantz emblem up there. I would follow at Russell Hantz. Like, I would have all kinds of stuff if that was the case.
I'm not ready for it. I can't imagine Jeff not being on stage and reading the votes to an audience. Like, I'm not ready for this.
Somebody said, like, since obviously he's going to read the votes virtually and everyone's not going to be there. So like usually, like, obviously, like the final 3 are sitting next to each other on stage and the person wins and like they celebrate with their family in the crowd. Are they just going to be like, is there going to be like a camera on them and they're just going to be like jumping up and down in the house, like on the couch? Like what's like, it's going to be very weird to see.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I think Jeff's going to be sitting exactly standing exactly where he stands. And we're going to see him at his little pulpit.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's how he's going to talk. It's just, and then they extended it 3 hours. So is that because they're going to have so much trouble with the virtual thing, or because I don't know if we're going to be that much interested in seeing them on the camera. It just doesn't seem fair.
I think it is the same timing as they said 3 hours, but I think that they're just combining and they mean like 2 hours and then 1 hour of the reunion, like normal.
Yeah, but 1 hour of the reunion, usually they go to the audience and they do different things. 1 hour with them, just us seeing the Zoom pictures of everybody all in a row, because it's it's everybody.
You're
except
right.
for Sandra. So it's going to be weird watching, but I hope that's not the world we're living in now. I hope this is just the case this one time, because but they're getting it done. They sure ain't canceling it. They're doing what they have to do to get them names out there.
And if there's one person I expect to figure it out, it's Jeff Probst. So we'll see what happens.
Oh yeah. Oh no, they're on it already.
Yeah.
They're already talking to the cast. They're already setting it up. They have an IT guy calling every single one, paying for whatever they have to pay for to make sure that it's great quality. They're getting it done for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
We're not even going to have.
Go ahead.
We're not even going to have a preview for next season. Usually they end the reunion with saying, "Here's what we're doing next season." They haven't even filmed 41 yet. We're not going to have a preview.
I'm sure we'll get some kind of update from Jeff where he like tells us the current situation, like what they're doing to make sure that this could still happen. Maybe recently. We'll see what happens.
Okay, can somebody answer that question right there about the AI?
Yeah, so it says, do you have any data? Ever hear about AI? Someone else read
it. Do you have any data?
I know that.
Do you have any data? Ever hear about AI and data science business?
Are they asking us? Or are they asking about like CBS? Any data AI? Are they asking us?
Hey, what if they did like you know how they do like they do like the Michael Jackson concert stuff? What if it was like virtual reality and they're all sitting there in the audience?
Yeah.
That's what Survivor is going to turn to. We're just going to be there. We're going to be doing it at home, but we'll be on the island. Like I'll be in my yard looking for idols.
There you go. You got it.
So everybody go ahead and look up what Sean Parsons posted. If you have any interest in AI and data science, visit skillet.ai.
The kid in the bottom low. He got low energy, man. He paid $10 to say that. That's funny. Okay, we have last one in the Sweet 16. We have number 3, Sarah. Number 2, Tyson.
Yeah, so Sarah beats Denise 61-39, 3,213 votes. And then Tyson beats Jerry 88-12. So I mean that was expected from Tyson. And I expect Tyson to get past Sarah as well.
Yeah. I mean, I think even though Tyson got voted out, Tyson's still considered both an amazing character and an amazing player. He's doing well now after the merge. But Sarah had a really dominant win as well. I mean, Sarah's considered to have one of a really top dominant win in her season of Game Changers. So I think Tyson's going to take it, but I think this is going to be like Hatch and Yule, where it's not going to be a blowout. It's going to be a pretty close vote, I think.
Do you think it's going to be close?
I'm not saying like 55-45, but we're not going to have like a 70-30. I'm thinking maybe like 60-40, 58-42. It's not going to be a blowout, but I don't think it'll be like right there.
I think this one is going to depend on how the episode goes.
Yes.
So if Tyson gets voted out, I think that Sarah is actually a lock to win this. But if Tyson were to win immunity or something, or be heavily shown in the episode, I think that he's going to run away with it. So I think that this episode is going to end up flipping it.
So since we're talking about Sarah, you guys seen her tweet saying that she's allergic to Chinese food?
Yeah, I saw that.
That's why she did what she did.
I saw that.
I did not know that.
My question is, I talked to Libby about this when we do Libby Mondays, but I don't know if it made the cut because we did 2 of them. One was so bad I scrapped it and did the second hour when we were talking. But I was talking about Sarah. If that was the case, and I'm talking directly to Sarah now, how come you didn't sit out and you let Denise sit out? How come you didn't stand up right there and say, hey, guys, I'm allergic, so I'm going to let Denise play? It would have cut all the craziness right there. She would have been like, look, I'm allergic to whatever. I don't know what she's allergic to. Chinese food. You couldn't just say the rice. Or maybe she's allergic to rice too. But, why didn't she say, I'm allergic anywhere when Tony came up to her? Maybe she did, but she didn't right there on the spot. She, that's when you say it. Hey, I'm allergic to this. I'm afraid it's going to be in the Chinese food because it usually is. So if it's okay with you guys, I'm going to sit out because it's ridiculous to let this go to waste anyway. And, let you guys fight for it, whatever.
Yeah, I definitely think it was really weird of Sarah to do that because I get maybe she just felt like she wants to be a nice person in that moment. But when you're in a game, all winners, to put yourself out like that and give away your reward, obviously it's going to be seen as strategy by everyone else. So I'm curious to hear where everyone thinks that Sarah, what's her positioning right now? Do you think she's in a bad spot because of this, or do you think that her position is still fine since she is aligned with Tony and Sophie and looks like they're pretty tight?
I think she's in trouble. I think she's in trouble because of that specifically, and I think that's why we've seen them edited into the Tony talking to her and all that. I think it comes back to haunt her later, and we hear about it again. And by the way, they say my mic sounds a little funny. They didn't want to sponsor me, so this is why it sounds funny. It's Rode. Do not get a Rode mic because it sucks. This is what you hear, and this is what you hear in this mic right here. It's Rode. So. If they would have sponsored me, I would have been talked about this little one here. We're not going to talk about that.
I guess to answer Dylan's question, I think that Sarah is in trouble right now. I mean, I think she actually was maybe going to be in trouble before this moment, but this is going to be the moment that we all point to where if she goes home in the next 3 weeks, we're going to point to this being a big reason why. I'm not sure what to believe, whether she was allergic, whether she was being nice, whether it was strategy. I'm just going to go off the assumption that if she says to us in confessional she was trying to be nice, I don't see why she would lie to us in confessionals. There's no point in lying to us. I mean, if you lie to the players, it's one thing, but don't lie to us. So I'm going to assume she was trying to be nice. Maybe the allergic thing is something else, but I think she was trying to be nice. I do think it was a strategic misstep. Tony pointed out to her, like, whether you did it nice or not, they're going to think it was strategy and their perception of you is going to be off. So I think she is in trouble. And I think we're seeing people look at Sophie and Sarah as a pair, Sarah and Ben as a pair. I think we're going to see one of Sophie, Sarah, or Ben go home either tomorrow or next week. That threesome is going to start looking a little threatening.
Yeah. Well, Ryan,
when she made the move, go ahead.
I was just going to say, kind of echo what you said earlier. Don't count out the possibility that she told Tony or told the producer in the confessional that she's allergic and they edited that out just to make it more dramatic. So I do agree with a lot of things you're saying, but I would not rule that out as a possibility just yet.
Okay, fair.
Right. And I think that especially when she was talking with Tony, that might have happened somewhere in there if she was really allergic to it. But at this point in time, she knows it was a bad move. She cannot sit there and argue the point, oh, I'm allergic to it. It's because I was trying to, yes, you're trying to, the human aspect into the game. I get that. But that's how she played last time. And that's how she deceived people last time, bringing the human aspect into it. She did the same thing last time she played, and she won the game. So it's her gameplay. It's her style. It's not a human move. It's a game move. And I think when she did it, I looked at my son and was like, that is a terrible move. Terrible. In the new age of Survivor, it's a terrible move. Do not ever give your food up for anybody because everybody's going to see that you're trying to curry favor with the others. You cannot make that move. And I think she knew that after it was all over. That's why she got a little defensive when Tony talked to her and she was like, what, they're going to vote me out because of that? And he was like, yes. Like, I know she knows that too. Back in the day with Yule and with Tom Westman, those players, even in season 19, I can remember thinking maybe I should give this up. And it would have been it would have been a good move. They would have respected that move. But nowadays, no way.
Yeah, I mean, like Tony's the voice. When Tony's the voice of reason, that's when you know. When Tony's making a lot of sense, that's when it's apparent. And I mean, Jeremy even said in confessional, he says that he gave up his reward in his first season, and they voted him out that night. So like nobody owes you any favors. You can bounce checks really easily. There's no strategic benefits. Even if it's to be nice and to gain favor, it's going to be seen as a really like sinister move. There's no strategic benefit to it.
Right, none at all. All right, guys. So who are you most excited out of all these? I'm most excited to see the Boston Rob Kelly thing go down because I think it's going to be a fight. And I think we're going to get 10,000 people vote on that one.
Mm-hmm.
I completely agree.
You better believe I'll be in the comments defending my girl Kelly Wentworth.
I would, but I can't. Like I'm not, even though game wise, when it comes to gameplay, I don't like some of them. And I like some of them better. In real life, I like them all the same. But in gameplay, I can't put my weight one way or the other. I don't want to do that. That's why I got out of the whole contest to begin with. So I'm sure not going to jump in there and say, hey, guys, vote for Kelly. Even though that's what I think they should do. Because we don't want to see a walk. This is the only – wait, let me see. I mean, other than Tony taking him at the end, if Tony makes it, which I think Tony will be in the Final Four, it would be Tony and Rob. And then what? Tony wins, and we see Parvati and Rob at the end. I don't want to see that.
I think, honestly, they're with the way he's playing, I think there's actually a very strong shot that whether Kelly wins or Rob wins, I think Tony takes the east side of the bracket. I think Tony is in a strong
position. Really? Wow.
I think because Rob's on extinction and Tony's playing so well right now and Tony's always entertaining, I think Tony takes the east half of the bracket.
Yeah, and I don't think Tony's going home anytime soon.
No,
because we're not even hearing it.
Zero votes against them. We're 11 votes out and 0 votes against them.
And
I'm there alone.
Yeah, and I'm of course looking forward to the Sandra Cirie matchup because I do expect an upset there.
Yeah.
Oh, you do?
Okay. Yeah.
Well, is it? Yeah, it would be an season 1 seed.
Right.
Okay. All right, guys. Well, we're having fun with this, the Ultimate Survivor bracket. If you guys want to follow these 3 guys, especially the boring one there with no energy.
Is that you? Is that you?
Yeah, it's me.
Go to the Soul Survivor. I thought you were the one with the most energy.
There you go. That's the opinion that matters. So yeah.
Right.
Go to the Soul Survivor podcast. Check these guys out and follow us. I'm at the Russell Hant Show, obviously. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. And I think the next bracket, the final 8, and I don't know if you guys want to wait for the final 8 and 4, so we'll have more to talk about. And then talk about it all at once, the final 8 and final 4. We'll be back on a Tuesday to talk about, probably not this Tuesday, but next Tuesday. Tomorrow will be the first drop, and it will be Parvati and Natalie, and then on from there. And we'll see who's going to take it. We got 24 hours to vote. Go vote. You see it either on their Twitter page, Soul Survivor Podcast, or my Twitter page, Russell Hantz. Follow us and vote.
Yeah, and
all right, guys. Appreciate you watching, and go ahead.
Yeah, and we'll also be recapping tomorrow night's episode on our YouTube page also. So be sure to subscribe to us also, Soul Survivor Podcast.
All right, guys. Well, I appreciate you for watching, and thanks.
Thanks, Russell.
Thank you.
Thank you, Russell.